Good morning. I am Linda Callahan, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst. I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and old, in the Zoom and in the sanctuary. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or your 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. As part of our effort to seek feedback on the governance of our congregation, you are invited to join us during the first 15 minutes of any regular meeting of the board. The next one is March 21st. Or you may chat with us during the social hour, or you may use the email address board@uusocietyamherst.org. We are grateful to be in community with you. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Jenny Mack, member of the Unitarian Universalist Society of Amherst, and today's worship associate. I use she, her pronouns. Today, we're reflecting on the many kinds of work that sustain us. While local COVID numbers are lower, masks are optional in the sanctuary. Please reserve the balcony section near the windows for those who choose to wear masks. I call us to worship with these words from Amy Mackenzie Quinn. Welcome to this common, sacred space. Common because we are all welcome. Sacred because here we transform the ordinary and attend to the profound. We carry with us our regrets, doubts, fears, stories, laughter. May they inspire our worship. Above all, may we each meet what we need most to find on this day in this common sacred space.
I invite you to join me in the words to light our chalice this morning. We light this flame to invite a world of peace, where we heal the wounds, where we share what we have with one another, where justice is another word for relationship, and we listen for what love has to say. Please rise in body, in spirit, in all of the ways that we do to sing hymn number 368, Now Let Us Sing. Let's see, I would like to invite children and anybody who likes to look at the pages of a storybook to come up here and join me. And we'll also have the images of the book on the screen as well. Does anybody know this guy? Frederick. Does anybody want to hold Frederick? A lot of people want to hold Frederick. So I think the thing to do, even some of the adults want to hold Frederick. Yeah, I think the thing to do is to start over here with Laszlo and take turns passing him back and forth because he is very fun to hold. All right. So today's story is Frederick by Leo Leone. Does this mean anything to you? I wonder why that might be. It's a library book. It's a very old library book. All along the meadow, where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. It's the same author as the Tilly story, yeah. Maybe so. Let's see what happens in this wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice had their home. But the farmers had moved away, the barn was abandoned, and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far off, the little mice began to gather corn and nuts and wheat and straw. We're going to find out about that. They all worked day and night, all except Frederick. Yeah, that guy. Frederick, why don't you work? They asked. I do work, said Frederick. I gather sun rays for the cold, dark winter days. And when they saw Frederick sitting there staring at the meadow, they said, "And now, Frederick?" "I gather colors," answered Frederick simply, "for winter is gray." Yeah, somebody scribbled on this book. It wasn't me, I promise. And once Frederick seemed half asleep. "Are you dreaming, Frederick?" they asked reproachfully. But Frederick said, "Oh no, I am gathering words. For the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say." The winter days came, and when the first snow fell, the 5 little field mice took to their hideout in the stones. In the beginning, there was lots to eat, and the mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. But little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries, the straw was gone, and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. Then they remembered what Frederick had said about sun rays and colors and words. "What about your supplies, Frederick?" they asked. "Close your eyes," said Frederick as he climbed on a big stone. "Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel how their golden glow?" And as Frederick spoke of the sun, the 4 little mice began to feel warmer. Was it Frederick's voice? Was it magic? "And how about the colors, Frederick?" they asked anxiously. "Close your eyes again," Frederick said. And when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies in the yellow wheat, and the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw the colors as clearly as if they had been painted in their minds. And the words, Frederick? Frederick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, as if from a stage, he said, "Who scatters snowflakes? Who melts the ice? Who spoils the weather? Who makes it nice? Who grows the four-leaf clovers in June? Who dims the daylight? Who lights the moon? 4 little field mice who live in the sky. 4 little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers. Then comes the summer who paints in the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat. And winter is last with little cold feet. Aren't we lucky the seasons are 4? Think of a year with 1 less or 1 more. When Frederick had finished, they all applauded. "But Frederick," they said, "you are a poet." Frederick blushed, took a bow, and said shyly, "I know it." I am so happy that I got to read that story to all of you today. And you'll hear more about it in the sermon, except for those who are going down to religious education. The copy of Frederick that I read to you today is my personal copy from my childhood. It came to me as a hand-me-down, not from an older cousin, but from the Breckinridge County, Kentucky Public Library. My Aunt Brenda was a librarian there, and she raided the discard piles for books that my cousins and I might like. The book came to me tattooed by ink pen scribbles and textured by water damage, probably why the library discarded and replaced it. But over the years, those two have become part of the experience of reading the book for me. Frederick is one of my sacred texts. I grew up listening for its small, mousy wisdom, entranced by its colors and visual storytelling as much as any stained glass window. This story is so important to me that it was part of my ordination into ministry. Leo Leone, the author of Frederick, began writing children's books after retiring from a successful career in fine art, design, and advertising. His first book began as a story he made up to entertain his grandchildren during a train ride. His stories were infused with the benevolent 20th century humanism, addressing segregation in Little Blue and Little Yellow, the power of organizing in Swimmy, and the value of artists in a progress-driven world in Frederick. He took on the Berlin Wall, civil rights, the dignity of the little guy, and the one who has a different perspective. Leo Leone was probably my first education in anti-fascism. Children's books frequently are sacred texts. They are part of how we choose to pass wisdom through the generations, and they meet the reader where they are. You'll be hearing a lot of sermons inspired by stories over the next few months, starting today with Frederick, and Polly's sermon next week on King Midas, and then again on Easter. I usually approach the Bible with the same story sermon sense that I bring to a story like Frederick. And then 4 more story sermons by Jenny, Allison, Anne Louise, and Robin during my upcoming sabbatical. To me, a story is sacred when there's room for interpretation, when it reflects my own questions and values back to me, and invites me to think about what matters. People have found these things for thousands of years in the sacred wisdom of many traditions, whether transcribed or passed down orally. But I'm also interested in how we find wisdom to light our path in fables and fairy tales and contemporary storybooks. How we say to one another, this life matters. What you're going through matters. You matter. I asked her, and my Aunt Brenda does not remember deciding to give Frederick to me. But there's probably a reason why she passed it along to me, the dreamy kid who loved words and sunshine and colors, instead of my nearest age cousin, Davin, who was always busy doing something obviously productive. And I have always seen myself in the title character. The world rewards the doers, the gatherers, those who work in quantifiable ways. And I rejoice alongside these measurable statements of lives touched when I come in to the last few minutes of Wednesday breakfast and Fran or Dia tells me that we fed 100 people, when I hear that we served 75 pounds of potatoes, when we have a membership book signing and 15 adults plus several children sign the book, when the plans of our meeting house are full of sparkling gems from the places where you have invested your energy. It feels so good to measure our work. Frederick reminds me that the unquantifiable work we do is also valuable. The words gathered and shared, the acts of imagination, the warmth of connection. These things also give us strength that we need. Next month, I begin my sabbatical. And while I have a few plans, the biggest items on my agenda are rest and what I can only characterize as intense Fredericking. For the next few months, as the congregation continues its many regular visible and invisible tasks, I undertake a different kind of work. One characterized mostly by slowing way down and connecting to my inner Frederick, who gathers the words and sunshine and colors. The work of the congregation will go on. The Sunday services are well in hand. Brenda and Andrew will be here week to week. Our worship collaborative Robin and Allison are staying connected to the leaders of all Sunday services to make sure they have what they need. And as I said, our story sermon cohort has prepared a series of excellent services that I've had previews of. I'm very excited for you. And there are so many other wonderful services to look forward to as well. Our Board of Trustees, led by co-presidents John and Jeff, will keep an eye on the business of the congregation, as they always do, with support from our wonderful administrator, Leah. The caring team, led by Fran and Catherine, will continue to provide the friendly ear of pastoral care and the practical care of meals and rides. When you really want to talk to a minister, they can connect you with Reverend Janet Bush, our neighbor from the Northampton congregation. We are a congregation of people who show care by doing. I know you are in excellent hands because they're your hands. While I'm Fredericking, I'll take some trips, but I'll largely be based here in Amherst. We might run into one another, and I'm happy to say hi, but I need not to chat about the congregation. I won't check my work email or my local 413 cell phone number. In the case of emergencies, John, Jeff, and Leah will determine whether to reach out to me. I need to put down the busy doing of the congregation to do my Fredericking. For our long-term resilience, we need both of these types of work, the doing and the Fredericking. It's going to be very obvious during the sabbatical that this is happening, but I invite you to think about how the two go together in your own life. The busy business and the quiet reflection, how do they feed and inform one another? Do you have the right balance of doing and Fredericking? Has that balance changed in different seasons of your life? The mice did all of their doing in preparation for winter and needed to be still together in the wall during winter. Then it turned out that a little bit of Fredericking in the summer planted the seeds of being able to Frederick together, which was so important to getting them through the winter. It's clear that we need both, the doing and the Fredericking. Frederick still ate, I am sure, even though he didn't gather seeds. The other mice very clearly needed Frederick's messages of hope to get through the winter. I think of the work of our congregation in a similar way. We make meaning, we build connections, we sustain the organization. We need to do all three. But I would say that all of us need a little of both, doing and Fredericking in our lives. We have to do the practical things. We all find some way to dream. Not everybody is going to do well sitting on a rock on the hillside. And some people find their Fredericking in their first cup of coffee in the morning, or in reading books, or listening to music, making or seeing art, and yes, TV and movies count. Some people's Fredericking might look like perfecting a muffin recipe or rejoicing in taking a walk with a friend. We all need some Fredericking, and some of us need a lot more than we get because of work demands or family obligations. I acknowledge that I have a relatively rare opportunity to take this sabbatical. All workers need rest and renewal, but you wrote it into my letter of agreement when you called me to be your minister. While I'm gone Fredericking, I would hope that you, the congregation, as well as you as individuals, find moments of rest and renewal that sustain you as well. Our work together is more than the discrete tasks that make it possible to come together. We make meaning together. We attune ourselves to each other and to the larger world. We share our strength with one another and carry our burdens together. I invite you to join me in the spirit of meditation. Spirit of life, spirit of sunshine and colors. We show up as we are to this moment and find ways to reach out to the world around us, not detach from it. We bring ourselves to this moment so that we might say, yes, amen. I invite you to rise in body and spirit to sing number 298, Wake Now My Senses. And because I'm very excited about it, let's sing all 5 verses.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel with deep power of being in all. Keep with the web of creation your vow. Giving, receiving, as love shows us how. Wake now my reason, reach out to the new. Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime. Wake now compassion, give heed to the cry. Voices of suffering fill the wide sky. Take as your neighbor, both stranger and friend, praying and striving, their hardship will end. Wake now my conscience, with justice thy guide. Join with all people whose rights are denied. Take not for granted a privilege of place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now my vision of ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Without a planet transformed by our care.
All right, for our meditation, words from the Reverend Jennifer Johnson. Spirit of life, source of being, open our hearts and minds to all that is possible in this season of liminality, this in-between season, sometimes winter, sometimes nearly spring, not quite one or the other. Beneath the crust of earth, seeds and bulbs lay in store. Some, crocus and daffodil, have dared to pierce the surface, braving to become the next iteration of self, a new bloom. On the forsythia and magnolia branches, petals curl into themselves, swelling into uncertain buds, waiting for the optimal conditions of light and warmth and rain to unfold into their potential for beauty and delight. On the bare branches of maple, oak, and elm, tiny leaves are invisibly budding, readying themselves for their debut, a new wardrobe for a new season. We too are waiting to grow again. Like perennial plants and deciduous trees, we don't grow along a singular trajectory, from infancy to childhood to the full bloom of adulthood and the wider unfolding of the elder years. Rather, we grow anew, year upon year, in seasons and cycles. In the cold and dark of winters, real and metaphorical, we hunker down, seek shelter and stillness, conserve energy, so that new vitality can germinate. In this liminal season, we are waiting for signs of longer light, lasting warmth and quenching rains, waiting to grow again anew. What new growth is budding in you, readying to make its debut, to adorn the world with new beauty and delight? Can you hear it singing? Please remain seated as we sing our meditation hymn.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find a silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Okay, why do I pledge to the UUSA? I attend UUSA with my wife, Yael, and our two kids, Maya and Adar, who are in elementary school. We moved here 6 years ago from Illinois when Maya was in preschool and Adar was a baby. We first arrived at UUSA when we were still unpacking, exhausted from the move, missing our former congregation, but wanting to be part of a new community. We dropped Maya off in the preschool religious education, or RE class, with JC. We were delighted to see the kids lighting a fabric chalice, sharing their joys and concerns, and completing art projects related to the UU principles. When we picked Maya up on one of those first Sundays, we met another RE family who became our first friends here. Over the course of our first year at UUSA, we became members and had Adar's child dedication here, which strengthened our connections to the community. Jumping forward another year or two, the UUSA helped our family get through the first stages of the pandemic when schools were closed for more than a year and we rarely saw anyone beyond our family. Logging into UUSA's online services was an important part of our routine, sometimes the only routine we really had. When Leah would highlight the people on Zoom one by one, it helped our kids see who was in their community and be seen by them. Through UUSA, we also connected with another member family whose 2 teenage and young adult children became our children's caregivers while we worked from home for that year. Later in the pandemic, RE families met outside at Wildwood School on Sunday mornings. The kids played on the playground and then had an RE session, while the parents had a discussion group that helped us connect with each other and lessened our sense of isolation. Today, the UUSA allows us to be part of a multi-generational community that gives us each what we need. We love that there are times when we're all together, including the beginning of most services and social events such as family fun nights. We also appreciate the time apart when the kids go downstairs for RE and the adults can fully focus on the service. The elementary RE program has been a great opportunity for the kids to develop friendships and their creativity. This year, the kids have invented new games, put on a pageant, taken apart old electronic devices, and Adar completed our whole lives sexuality education curriculum for kindergartners and first graders. On many Sundays, there are more than 10 or 15 or 20 kids attending RE classes, which demonstrates how engaging the program is. The kids want to come, as well as the need to support it financially. Religious education is a substantial portion of the UUSA budget. We pledge to UUSA knowing that our contributions are needed to make it happen. We're happy to contribute to this community that so warmly welcomed our family, helped us through the pandemic, and allows us to continue making connections with other people.
Our service begins to draw to a close, and I invite you to say the words to extinguish the chalice with me. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We are about to sing our closing song. You're welcome to stay right where you are and be held in the love of our congregation, or you're welcome to form a circle along the outer aisles, maybe even hold hands as we sing.
This day we come once more together, as winds of earth call forth our names, like kingdom love, from the strength of this circle, we come rejoicing, determined. If you take one thing from our service today, may it be this: you are loved. Go in peace.